Man, it's been 10 years since my YouTube channel was created. This means this alias of mine is 10 years old now. Well, back in my childhood days, my dream was to always create a series that would, well, be something I would be known for. There was this group in one of my scrapped projects called the Flame Eagles, and their insignia was the same symbol I use as the icon. Um, when I got my YouTube account, I was like, you know what, let's use this name since this series is never gonna become real anyways. So I took the name and I even took the insignia to use as my symbol, which some people asked me, hey, is that from Angry Birds? Despite the fact that this was made in 2008, which was a year before Angry Birds became a thing. The symbol's basically just a fireball, but with an eagle face on it. So very simple. The 25, on the other hand, of the 25 in the username, that came from the idea where like I wanted to use a number that was related to gaming, since I was going to do Let's Plays on my YouTube channel. So 25 is basically the amount of cents you would need to pay for playing arcade games back in the day, quarters, if you will. So yeah, it's just a quarter joke or something. So since that, then when I went to other sites that also allowed users in it, I used FlameEagle25 as my usual username, such as Flipnote Antenna, Colors 3D, DeviantArt, Discord, Twitch, and recently itch.io. Before I became FlameEagle25, I was just a regular user in Neopets, but until I retired in 2011. Recently, in 2018, I decided to get out of retirement and try everything all again as FlameEagle25. So, yeah. In terms of the days of when I was a Let's Player, I was a rather rebellious person, where instead of using capture cards like everyone else, I decided, you know what, I'm going to be that one guy who doesn't use capturing devices because I hate wires, and use a video camera in front of a TV instead. Or should I say projector, which was what I used originally to record footage or show the gameplay. Use the video camera, like use like a regular looking video camera. I forgot how it looks like, but um, the first Let's Play I was originally going to do was WarioWare Smooth Moves, but the first video camera I used, didn't record anything, so I had to change it up. So I got a different camera, which was a regular picturing camera that had a video function. So I used that, and I decided to not use, play Super Mario World instead. But since I was still in high school, that Let's Play took 2 years to finish. 2 years. Ugh. It's also probably one of my worst, concerning the fact that, well, I was just new to the whole Let's Play thing, so I was not a very good commentator and all. I still find some moments in that LP good, like the part where I was going through the special stages and I lucked out upon failing one of the jumps. That was probably the only good highlight from that. But everything else, it's just not very good in my opinion. But it was also painful. The reason why there were so many delays because first thing, the projector I used died, so I would later get a new television to record or not record, use to play the games, and then the camera I was using was starting. Well, no, actually, the camera was starting to like not record, it just turns off prematurely, mostly either due to the battery or a timer I was unaware of, or the fact that it needed to be active, where like you had to push the buttons on it. So instead, I got this handheld camera that my dad strapped to a Game Boy, an N64 Game Boy transfer pack with rubber bands on it, just so it can stand up without needing a stand. So I also placed it on some sort of like fruit holder box. So yeah, that's how I record Let's Plays back then. Still did that for a long time. It got really annoying when I had to change the batteries though. Like it took me until Banjo Kazooie for me to use rechargeable batteries instead of regular batteries. So yeah, Mario World, not my favorite Let's Play I've ever done. It may be the first, but it's not the best. Now the next Let's Plays I did were way better than Super Mario World. Uh, well, here's the thing though. When I was still in high school, I decided to do Let's Plays during like vacations, like summer break, spring break, or what was it, winter break. So I think it was winter break when I did Mega Man X. Yeah, it was winter break. So yeah, Mega Man X was the second Let's Play I did. I still remember that time where I like Hadoukened the Storm Eagle in 5 seconds. That was the best part of the entire project. Sonic Adventure DX was done on a spring break, a 2 week spring break, mind you. But there was a problem. Well, okay, first off, I decided to do the game chronologically, which honestly I think is how the game should be played. Um, the thing I hate the most about it is that I was sick during that time. I had a fever, and then the second week I was well, as the days were going by, as I had that sickness, I was recovering. But after finishing the project, I eventually got a rather weird disease that numbed my face and like made my throat really sore. So I had to take an extra week off of school just to make sure I was fully cured from that. That was probably the worst time for me. In terms of the project itself, I had fun with the editing, even though it took a while to remember which came first, which came next. I was kind of disappointed in the end, where like I couldn't get uh Gamma's laser blaster during the project before Windy Valley, or getting two of Big Slur upgrades that I missed. I can't believe that happened. The brightness on the television, though, goddamn, I should have put it up. That's a problem I had with some of the projects. Like the brightness was not very high. It should have been higher than what I already set it to. And that was a common problem, except for a few LPs that some of them didn't need it, but others like this game definitely needed it. So yeah, SpongeBob for Bikini Bottom. This was okay at best. Like it was one of my favorites to do, especially for the editing process, where I just put in like mimetic clips that the SpongeBob series is known for. Um, it's not. I still like watching it, but goddamn, the bright. I should have. That is the definition. Well, the main reason why I should have put the brightness on my TV up, because the game was so hard to see, especially in Kelp Forest. Though, god damn it, I hate that world so much. I couldn't see shit from the footage, even in the cave section. I hated that part. I especially hated the recording process of the kelp vines. That was the worst part of the entire game for me. But with the announcement of Rehydrated, which is coming out in June, actually, I feel like returning to this game. Only for the remake, though, because I actually do want to play that. Maybe when I'm done 100%ing that game for the first time, I'll probably do an LP for that. Now, originally, I had 3 games planned that were in a certain order. The first one was Super Mario 64, but the idea was changed to Pulseman when I started to get into that game upon downloading it. Because I was like interested back then. I was interested in like what other games Game Freak made. I was the most interested in Pulseman, so I got it on the Wii Virtual Console, started playing it, and I was like, "Hey, maybe I should let's play this." So that's how Pulseman was done instead of Mario 64. Then the Banjo-Kazooie LP came, and honestly, it was probably one of my better projects. Like, it, I didn't even need to turn the brightness up on my television. It's probably one of the best LPs I've made. It wasn't as long as Battle for Bikini Bottom, but it's still up there. The next game that was gonna come after that was Earthworm Jim HD, but when I was practicing, I realized that maybe playing a game on the hardest difficulty is probably not a good idea. Well, I don't suck at the game. I've beaten that game a few times on the original mode, but I was like, you know what? Let's play something easier. So instead, I decided to do Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and like Adventure 1, I decided to do the game chronologically. I had some problems and well, for a few bits, but what can you do? I also played the game on all the upgrades on, so I wouldn't have to be so obsessive like trying to get an A rank in all the stages. So well, all the stages in during story mode, but what can you do? Next, the original project after that was going to be The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D, not HD. HD's not even a thing yet for the Ocarina of Time. So yeah, Oot 3D was next, but since I know the recording process would have been a pain because I would have to put the camera in front of the 3DS, and that would be a really a big pain in the ass to position. I was like, you know what, let's do DuckTales Remastered because the game came out during that time, and I was like, you know what, I want to play a retro game that everyone likes, a remake of it, that of course. So I did that instead. So, and it was all right. Then after that game, Banjo Tooie was next, appropriately because 2 years ago I did Banjo Kazooie, and then after that I was like, you know what, let's just do Banjo Tooie 2 years later, which is appropriate because in the game and the release of the game actually, it came out 2 years later, and in the game it took place 2 years after the events of the first game, and it's probably my best project, probably like one of the best in my opinion. Then after that, I went on hiatus for like 4 years. I didn't know what to do. I had other things to do instead because I had other projects to work on. So I decided that to fill in the time and to show that hey, I still do Let's Plays. I did Super Mario Brothers just for the hell of it. I do have, besides SpongeBob Rehydrated, there are three other games I would like to Let's Play, but who knows when those will come. I know that How Rehydrated will come like maybe a month after it gets released in June. I think, anyways, but yeah, I expect more Let's Plays later or in July. I don't know. Uh, Let's Playing was such a time for me. Also, one thing about the Super Mario Bros. Let's Play, I now use a new camera. The old camera I used for the other projects, I unfortunately left the rechargeable battery in it for 4 years, causing the battery's acid to like leak out and crystallize from the inside of the camera. So I had to throw away that old one along with the batteries. So this brand new camera not only can record up to 28 minutes per footage, but it also has a rechargeable battery in it where I can just plug it into a wall and I no longer have to replace the battery anymore. Let's Plays weren't the only things I made on YouTube. I did make other videos. I did two one-scented rant videos, which are basically user XN Shadow, more notably Ted from Brain Stretch Comms. He made videos where he made like sentences, well, rants in just one sentence, which became a very trendy thing back then. So with Flipnote Studio 3D's delays, which I'll get to later, I made rants about it, similar to it. Like one was telling Nintendo, "Hey, it's been 1 year since you announced this. When is it coming out?" And the second one was basically me saying, "Oh, finally, it's coming out. I waited 18 months for this shit." And that's about it for that one. I had other videos of me doing stuff like showing off this hard foam master sword I got, which was really cheap. It was one of my more popular videos back then. Had a video of me killing some snowmen that I just made out of boredom with the same Master Sword. I made a review of the replica Kingdom Key that my dad made. I don't know why I had to wear the stupid Sora costume. Stupidest idea I had. I even said the like, comment, subscribe. Ugh, God, I don't know why I made that video. It's popular, but I don't really like it. What else was there? Had my father name the characters in Smash. Uh, took Joe Conroy's dancing video, dancing with the Squid Hat video, and replaced the music with Kyle's theme. I did a few YouTube poop shorts. The one with Morton Cooper Jr. is apparently my most popular. Is probably the most popular video I've ever made. I don't know how the hell that was popular. All I did was like shorten that clip by putting in the SpongeBob 2 hours later clip in it. The time cards. That's about it. I also made a parody of Smash Ultimate's "Everyone Is Here" trailer with using the character from Neopets, since I was like, "Hey, Neopets Lessons Letters is coming out," and well, technically it was a 19th anniversary video for the site, so I did that. Then I made a second version just to make some improvements, though there were some errors in it. So yeah, I do plan on making a third version, so I'll get to that eventually. Uh, I don't know when that'll happen though. So when I got my DSi in 2009, it took me 2 years to realize that Flipnote Studio would be a great place to start in terms of in terms of making animations. So when I first saw the thing, I was like, "Oh, you can animate stuff here." I wasn't very interested into it, but when I discovered the site and saw a lot of people's animations, I then got inspired and decided to join the website and make my own animations after making a few characters. So I got hooked on Flipnote Studio along with the website Flipnote Hatena. There I met some of my friends, those being Yoshi106, Chaos R, Emperor, YoshiWare, Silexi, and a few others. Sadly, though, when the website went down in 2013, I was like, all right, time to wait for Flipnote 3D, which was announced during that time, and it took 18 months. It was so draining that when the app finally came out, I kind of lost my motivation to animate. Granted, I was animating a lot, but I didn't animate that much. Well, especially nowadays, it's rare for me to like make a flip note and then post it online. Originally, I was gonna re-release some of the old flip notes I'd made back in Antenna, thanks to the DSi library that Flipnote 3D had. But I decided against it because I didn't like how my old art style looked. So I ended up remaking some of my favorites that I made before with the newer art style, which I liked how they ended up. Unfortunately, though, with the DSi, what was it? The DSi library uh, that came with the app itself. The DSi library closed in 2018, so I'm unable to re-download all the old flip notes I've created before, which sucks, yes, but what can you do? I made my choice, and it became my ultimatum. So after I created my characters, I decided to use them for a brand new series that I was going to make. One that would actually be finalized finally after so many years. So I made this series called New Valor Heroes. Yes, that's the name of the world, Valver. I just basically got the word Valor, the first three letters of it, and the first three letters of verb to make the name. Stupid, I know, but it's weird. I just wanted to make a unique name. So originally, New Valor Heroes was an animation project that I wanted to work on, but ever since I was starting to lose all the what was it? Not creativity. I would say lose all the lose the motivation to animate a lot. I started to doubt that the animation project would finish, so I decided to make a web literature series a year later. Well, it debuted in 2015, so that's when the series came out. Then was finalized in 2016, which was also the year the sequel, New Valor Heroes 2 Rivalry Chronicles, when it came out. In fact, I think Rivalry Chronicles was actually planned first, but then I wanted a prologue story to the entire series, so I decided to make the first one. In actuality, I had like three installments, but after that, I made a third installment beforehand, but it was still in planning stages along with the fourth one, which had some planning stages a bit, but was scrapped and and I put some of the concepts for four to three instead. So the sequel came out, and then in 2017, the third one, New Valor Heroes 3 Psycho Chaos, came out. Then after that, I decided to make a crossover with Neopets because I was like, "Hey, I should probably make a crossover that would make some people go, hey, what the hell's going on?" So of all franchises, I chose the franchise I grew up with, which actually led to me getting back into Neopets afterwards because I was like, "Oh, this series' lore was like really deep and stuff." So I got interested and decided to return. So after making the crossover, a prequel was made. A prequel to the first one was made, titled New Valor Hero Zero. What was it? Tales of Valor. That one I think came out a year later. Yeah, it was 2018. And then after that, New Valor Heroes 4. No, Psycho Chaos was the third one. New Valor Heroes 4 Prism Squad came out during that time as well, but it ended on 2019. It felt like the first half was like season 1, the second half was like season 2. So yeah, I basically stopped in 2019. But a fifth installment, New Valor Heroes 5, is going to come out on May this year because, well, it's NVH's fifth anniversary. Well, coming in May. What day did it come out? On May 28th. Yeah, I roughly remember it. The animation project started of the first one started around May before Splatoon 1 came out. So it was May 28th, 2015. So yeah, that's how NVH was made. Story wise, it's written as if it was a action adventure platformer. In fact, I really want this series to become a game. That's why I made series in the first place. I wanted to make games. So if you notice from my DeviantArt, I made like game notes that add like game maps and like all these things like, oh, you need this much score to get this rank. You need these are the enemies in the game. These are the enemies in the game. I wish I could make it, but platformers are honestly harder to make than RPGs, which I'll get to later. So yeah, if anyone wants to make a New Valor Heroes game, feel free to do it, but make sure it's accurate to the notes because if it's not accurate to the notes, then it's not really faithful to what I had in mind. But yeah, that's New Valor Heroes thing I worked on for 5 years. God, I can't believe it's gonna turn 5 years old. But even then, the first 8 characters that were created for New Valor Heroes were created in 2011, and the next year will be their 10th birthday. Jeez, I didn't expect them to be that old already. Oh boy, this project. Before Super Smash Bros. Neo was created, I had this crazy ass theory where what if the director of the next Smash was not Sakurai, but rather a new developer who developed a brand new IP for Nintendo that became so popular that he ended up adding a bunch of characters from his own franchise to the next Smash. So this theory was in my mind for quite a while that I decided to make my own story called "What If I Created the Next Smash Brothers," where I, FlameEagle25, worker at Next Level Games and creator of the hypothetical new IP called New Valor Heroes, decided to join Sora Limited and Namco Bandai to make the next Smash Brothers. But then Sakurai is like, "Hey, you have a headstrong attitude, and with your 3 successful games, you should be the. I should let you be the next director. I'll be your supervisor, though." It's really crazy as stupid as story I've created that I was like, Man, sometimes I wish Smash was like this, besides the whole hypothetical IP part. Like, I didn't list just the characters, but also like what stages would be in, and what modes would there be, what challenges would be there, what kind of challenges you would have to do, what Mifa costumes would be in the game, and what kind of music tracks would be in the game. Originally, the original project started in 2015, right after Smash 4's DLC ended. But then when Smash Ultimate was revealed at E3, I decided to reboot the entire thing. So, yeah, that's basically about it about on Neo. I made this panoramic that was similar to Ultimates, except every character is drawn in a doodle art style, which is how I imagine Master Hand, aka the kid playing with his toys, how he draws in front of like a generic gold, not gold, rainbow space background. But despite the doodly art style, I think this is probably one of the best pieces of art I've ever made. Like, it has over 102 characters in it, and that's from the reboot alone. Like, goddamn, I don't know what to say. This is just a really good picture I made. I like it so much. So 3 years ago, I reunited with a few of my friends from Hatena, and when I got into Discord 4 years ago. When that happened, I noticed that that one of my friends, Chaos, was also a Twitch streamer. So I decided to join up and be a watcher to I don't know, watch everything, all the streams he made with an almost perfect attendance. In fact, thanks to the almost perfect attendance, he made me a chat moderator. I wasn't just a watcher though. I was also a player for some of the games, namely Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Smash Ultimate. Well, those are the top games that pop in my head for that. But I also clip his videos a lot. In fact, I'm the one who does all the clipping. For like, I clip all the highlights of certain streams. I even made a top 15 last year as a birthday present for him. Nowadays, he's currently on hiatus. Who knows when he'll make another stream? When he's going to make another one, I'll be right there. While I was developing NVH4, I decided to make a brand new series called Nova Champions. However, unlike NVH, since it was an action adventure platform, well, the idea of it, anyways, and NVH Cross Neopets being a fighting game idea, um, Nova Champions is instead an RPG, which is obvious from the well, fantasy setting that it's taking place in. So, since I was thinking of making it an RPG, I then remembered this program called RPG Maker. So, last year at Christmas, I bought RPG Maker MV during the discount when it was on discount, because RPG Maker is usually on discount on Steam for like $20 during Christmas. So I bought that, and I haven't put down the program until April, where I managed to finish a prototype for Nova Champions, which is now available on my itch.io. So, yeah, that's about it for Nova Champions. I don't know how long this project will finish. I haven't even drawn all the characters yet, but I haven't drawn all the characters yet. I did program all the things needed, which is in the prototype, but I haven't done any sprite work yet. So I don't know how long this will take. It'll probably take about 2 years to finish. That's my guess. 2 or more years, I assume. So yeah, enjoy Nova Champions when it comes out in about 2 or so years later. Well, that's everything I have done in 10 years. Who knows what the future has in store for me?